Welcome back to the Crypto channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is continuing the bullish breakout towards the upside, heading towards the next price target, while this bullish signal is still repeating on the Bitcoin price chart. But just over the last one day, I've taken some profits, secured some profits out of this Bitcoin long position, which I'll talk about in just a moment, what my exact trading strategy is moving forward, and sharing with you exactly how I'm planning to make easy profits moving forward, while Ethereum is also now retesting and further confirming the breakout from this price pattern heading towards the next price target, while Solana is still running into this exact area of resistance that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin and crypto charts today, taking a quick look at the US stock market. And of course, over the last 1 to 2 days, we've been perfectly playing out the short-term bearish divergence as I warned about over the last couple of days. But in the immediate short term, for basically the second half of the previous trading day, we did see just a short-term little rebound. But overall, this bearish divergence on the 1 hour time frame for the S&P 500 index right here is technically still active. We've not yet confirmed an invalidation signal to tell us that this bearish divergence is completely over. But considering the fact that this bearish divergence is only on the 1 hour time frame, I don't expect this to play out over many weeks. For example, potentially it's already played out at this point. Maybe it could play out for a little longer, maybe another 1 or 2 days max. I don't really expect many days, but maybe another day or so of some choppy sideways price action could be a possibility that we need to consider, basically showing a bit of weakness in the short term in the US stock market. So that's a possible short-term warning signal for Bitcoin and crypto. But overall, of course, if we're looking at the larger trend for the US stock market, still very much bullish. So once again, short-term setback during a larger bullish trend. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at some Bitcoin news today, as we saw that breakout for the price of Bitcoin over the last couple of days here, we've seen some massive net inflows into the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And so first of all, in case you missed my last video here on the channel, on Monday, we saw a net inflow of over 116 million US dollars into the spot Bitcoin ETFs. On Tuesday, a net inflow of over 753 million US dollars. And then just yesterday on Wednesday, a net inflow of over 840 million US dollars coming into the spot Bitcoin ETFs just on Wednesday. So obviously increasing inflows here, massive inflows, which is effectively demand. This is buying pressure for the price of Bitcoin, which is obviously bullish for the price of Bitcoin. And so with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin charts today on the weekly time frame, not much has changed over the last 1 day on this time frame. So the super trend indicator still sitting in the red, and of course this bearish divergence technically still here on the weekly time frame. But like I talked about in my last video, we are getting closer towards invalidating the larger bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. So keep that in mind. Obviously, it already played out very nicely here over multiple months. As I said months ago here on the channel, we expect a lot of weakness, most likely over a period of months, and we have already seen that over the last few months as expected. And once again, we're now moving closer towards invalidating this bearish divergence, but we're not there just yet. But we're still in the short term here, clearly playing out this smaller bullish divergence here on the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, as I've also been talking about every day over the last couple of weeks, saying that just over the next couple of weeks, at the very least, expect most likely a bullish relief. Maybe some choppy sideways price action here and there, but most likely a bit of a bullish relief is one of the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence. And obviously over the last couple of weeks here in the shorter term, on the slightly smaller time frame compared to the weekly time frame, that's exactly what has been playing out, a short-term bullish relief. And obviously as this continues to play out, this is moving closer towards the invalidation of this larger bearish divergence. So basically at some point, most likely within the next couple of weeks, one of these will invalidate, either the larger bearish divergence or the smaller bullish divergence. So the next couple of weeks will definitely be a crucial time for Bitcoin to determine what we should be expecting maybe over the next couple of months. But at least in the short term, for the next few days, maybe the next couple of weeks, I do continue to expect this shorter term bullish divergence to remain active and basically play out a little longer here in the short term as a very likely scenario. And of course, this is also due to the fact that we have already confirmed a breakout above a crucial area of resistance here on the daily Bitcoin price chart, sitting in between around 92,000 to 94,000. And obviously over the last 2 days now, we've seen 2 daily candle closes confirming well above that 94K level. In fact, now 2 daily candle closes above 94. 95k. In fact, the latest daily candle close was even at close to 97k, or well above 96k. So obviously this is just simply further confirming the breakout above this crucial area of resistance, which means this area will likely now become new support. So if, for example, we see any little pullback or anything like that, expect support in this area at 92 to 94,000. And as for the next level of resistance to watch out for, based on this previous 50% retracement level, which was previous significant support, likely now acting as resistance, and that's sitting at pretty much exactly 100,000. So at give or take 100,000, around that level, expect some resistance, which means struggle for the price of Bitcoin, or a possible rejection from around that level on the price chart. But if we break out beyond 100,000 and we surpass that level right there with confirmation, in that situation, the next level to watch out for of potential resistance would be sitting at give or take 106,000. And if we're zooming into this area on the price chart for the price of Bitcoin, but staying on the daily time frame, we could see obviously this inverse head and shoulders pattern continuing to play out here in the shorter term. Obviously, over the last couple of days, I've been talking about this price pattern since back down here before it confirmed. I said, get ready. This is forming, not yet confirmed, but it could soon confirm, is what I said right down here. And then the moment we saw that one daily candle close above this neckline right here, above the line of resistance at around 94,000, that was the confirmation signal officially starting to confirm the breakout, therefore confirming this price pattern, therefore confirming the price target for the breakout towards the upside. And obviously over the last one day, as I just said, we've seen a second daily candle close now, further confirming the breakout towards the upside. And the technical price target, in case you're new to the channel, in case you missed my last few videos, the technical price target for this inverse head and shoulders pattern is sitting at roughly around 103,000. So from the point of the breakout to that price target, that was a potential almost 10% move towards the upside, or from where we are right now as of recording this video to that price target, that's still about a 7% move towards the upside, and that's with no leverage. And so, for example, let's just say with a 10x leverage long position, a 7% move towards the upside like that will turn into a 70% profit in a 10x leverage long position, as an example, not financial advice. And as always, we need to understand potential points of resistance and invalidation signals. For example, if we confirm, let's just say, a daily candle close back below around 94,000, or especially back below 92,000, that would really invalidate this breakout, invalidate this price pattern, therefore completely invalidating that bullish price target towards the upside. So keep that in mind. That's the point of invalidation right there. And obviously for now, we've not confirmed any invalidation signal, which means the breakout is still actively playing out. But of course, it's unlikely we'll just move in a straight line towards the price target. We'll much more likely find resistance along the way. As I said earlier, at these levels right here, like 100,000, for example, or around 106,000, and then obviously around this price target, we could find some resistance around there at around 103,000. So keep those levels in mind as well. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, we've just now technically reconfirmed this new bearish divergence here on the 6-hour time frame, with a new higher high put in place over the last one day in the price in the candle closes, and now a new lower high starting to confirm here in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI. And now, technically speaking, it's only on the 6-hour time frame. We only really have one small confirmation signal so far, which means it could easily invalidate. So keep that in mind. It's not as important as, for example, a signal on a larger time frame, which is currently playing out. But just keep this in mind. Obviously, if the US stock market continues to struggle a little bit in the short term, then it's possible we could see a little bit of a struggle, maybe a slight little cool off for the price of Bitcoin in the shorter term. But remember, for as long as we're holding above ideally 94,000, but especially holding above 92 to 94,000, if we're holding that as support, or simply just holding above that level, not even testing that level, either way, if we're above 94,000, we're looking really good here, especially on the daily time frame with those higher price targets still in play. And so all I'm saying is just don't expect a straight line towards the upside. If we see any little cool offs and things like that as a result of these short-term bearish divergences, etc., don't be surprised. That's very normal price action, but it's still looking all good while we're holding above, especially that 94K level. And so with all of that being said, what is my exact trading strategy moving forward? How am I planning to make some easy profits from this Bitcoin move happening right now? And well, as I already talked about in my last video, I'm currently in a Bitcoin long position, which I shared in my last video when the position was actually in a slight loss. It actually dipped below my entry price temporarily, and I still shared it here on the channel, gave you all the opportunity opportunity even when the price was below my entry price, which means you could have gotten an even better entry than what I got myself. But as we can clearly see, over the last one day, this position has moved further into profits here, currently in total roughly 2,000 USD in profits in about one day, and I've already locked in pretty much exactly 1,000 USDT in realized profits, with roughly 1,000 USDT in unrealized profits. And so if you watched my last video, you'll know that this started out as around $150,000 long position. Ideally, I would have liked it to be a larger position, but as I explained in my last video, I'd only really add to the position if we saw a bit more of a retest into this area and obviously a decent bounce, which we started to almost do that, but we didn't quite retest 94K. So I would have liked to enter a little bit more into that position, but either way, I still, of course, had the long position open, as you can clearly see. But over the last one day, as you could also see here, I have secured a bit of profit. So like I just said, it started out as a $150,000 Bitcoin long position. As of recording this video, it's about a $100,000 Bitcoin long position. In other words, I've closed about a third of the trade, pretty much right at this local high. I'll show you actually my exact order history. As you can clearly see here on my BTNX account, took a little bit of profits at around 97.1K, a little bit of profits at around 97.6K, as you can see, showing very transparently all of my exact orders. And the reason why I took a little bit of profits off the table, just closing a third of the trade, not the entire trade, not half of the trade, just closing a third of the trade, is due to the fact that, of course, we now have this new bearish divergence, which could possibly play out moving forward. Obviously not guaranteed to cause any crash or anything like that, but could cause maybe a slight little cool off. And of course, with the stock market playing out this short-term bearish divergence, I'm just simply securing a little bit of profits just in case we continue a little bit more of a pullback. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm saying just in case that happens, I'm securing a little bit of profits. But as you can see here, I still have 2/3 of the trade remaining open, still have a $100,000 Bitcoin long position, which I'm still currently in, which means if the price continues pumping, considering the fact that these bullish price targets are still active while we're holding above 94,000, considering that that is still playing out here on the daily time frame, for example, once again, I still have the rest of the trade still open, which means I'll continue to profit if we continue to pump. And in terms of invalidation levels, as I said earlier, if we start to break back below around 94,000, I'll look to basically close the rest of the trade, which in this case, I've already secured some profits, which means I can still come away with profits even in that worst case scenario, which is another reason as to why I just secured a little bit of profit, so that I'm still making profits in the worst case scenario. And as for other take profit points, potentially at points of resistance along the way, like for example, if we get closer towards 100,000, not necessarily at that exact level, but just before those points of resistance right here, I would take a little bit of profits off the table out of that long position, not closing the entire trade at any one level, just slightly reducing the size of the trade at each of these points of resistance, or just before each of the points of resistance, and also just before that price target at around 103,000. That's my trading strategy, not financial advice. I'm just sharing very transparently with you exactly how I'm planning to make some easy profits in this Bitcoin and crypto market. And if you also want to take trades just like this for yourself, of course, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And this exchange, which I'm trading on right now, is the BTNX exchange. So I'll leave a link to BTNX below the video. In fact, the third link below this video will take you to the BTNX exchange, which I'm currently taking this trade on right now. But if you want another option out there, the first link below this video in the description and in the pinned comment will take you to the 2bit crypto exchange, which is also a massive exchange that I personally use myself, which by the way is a no KYC exchange. And if you use that first link below the video to make your 2bit account, you can get some major bonuses over here, over 18,000 USDT in bonuses, which you can claim using that link below the video to 2bit. And on top of that, once again, 2bit, in case you're wondering, is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, if you want another option out there, another exchange that I also use where you can also claim some extra bonuses on, then in that situation, check out the second link below the video, because the second link below this video in the description and in the pinned comment will take you to this page right here over on the PineX crypto exchange, where you could also take advantage of some major bonuses that are available using that link below the video. For example, if you make your PineX account complete KYC using the link below the video, you get a 50 USDT bonus onto your PineX account. And on top of that, there's deposit bonuses here. If you deposit as little as 100 USDT, you get a 100 USDT bonus on your account. If you deposit 10,000, you get a 1,000 2,000 USDT bonus onto your Pinex account. So obviously major bonuses which you can take advantage of. You can claim these bonuses just by depositing, completing KYC, etc. using that second link below the video to Pinex. So especially if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check out all of these bonuses right here. Take advantage of this using those links below this video to those exchanges, which by the way, I'm actually using myself to take these trades. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we have a small amount of liquidity building towards the upside at just above 98,000, so around 98.1k to 98.3k. So keep that in mind. That's a possible short-term target to pay attention to right around here on the price chart. And of course, we still have that massive liquidity at around just under 90,000, around 89 to 90,000. But keep in mind, obviously, we have to consider all of this other information, like for example, an active inverse head and shoulders pattern breaking out towards the upside, holding above and breaking out above a very crucial area, 92 to 94,000, which will likely act as strong support. So considering all of this other information, this bullish divergence playing out on the 3-day time frame, it's unlikely we'll go down towards 89 to 90,000 based on this reason alone, considering all of this other information that is heading towards the bullish direction and pointing towards a continued breakout. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, obviously over the last couple of days, we've continued a little short-term bullish move, but overall, if we're looking at the larger trend that we're in or the price structure that we're in, currently we're still looking very neutral, basically just bouncing around in a bit of a sideways price range for the Bitcoin dominance. Right now, we have a lot of support at around 58.5% to 58.8% in the Bitcoin dominance, and a lot of resistance at around 60%, starting at around 60%, but especially in between 60.5 to 61%. We have a lot of resistance around there as well for the Bitcoin dominance. So basically, the Bitcoin dominance is remaining range bound, looking very neutral, which means expect the altcoin market on average to perform very similar to whatever Bitcoin is doing. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, obviously right now the price of ETH is continuing the short-term bullish move, simply following Bitcoin's short-term bullish move, obviously. And right now we are testing these previous highs right here, sitting in between around 3.3k to 3.4k. So keep in mind, we could find some resistance around that area on the price chart. But if we continue a bullish move beyond that point, especially beyond 3.4k, in that situation, the next massive area of resistance is in between around 3.6k to 3.7k. So keep that in mind moving forward, but overall short-term situation still looking bullish, especially while Bitcoin continues the bullish breakout. And as for support, expect a lot of support in between 3,000 to 3.1k if the price were to actually get back to that area. And if we're staying on the daily time frame but zooming in a little bit on the price of Ethereum here, we can see that over the last one day we just performed a little retest, and so far holding above this crucial line on the price chart, the previous line of resistance now acting as new support, which is sitting at around 3260 to 3270, so just below 3.3k. And as always, not financial advice, but let's just say if you missed the initial breakout for Bitcoin, there's potentially still an opportunity here, which personally I'm just letting you know I might look to take this opportunity myself if I see a decent little entry point, or if we continue a bit more of a retest and actually start a decent bounce, I may look to add another long position for Ethereum here alongside the Bitcoin long position. So keep in mind, we still have an active bullish breakout with an active bullish price target right now. Not financial advice, but the technical price target for this price pattern is currently sitting at around 4,200, 4.2k. So from where we are right now as of recording this video to that price target, that's about a 26% move towards the upside, and that's with no leverage. So for example, 10x leverage long position in that case, not financial advice, would be a 260% profit. So a potential massive trading opportunity just really beginning. But remember, it's unlikely we'll just go straight towards that price target in a straight line without finding any resistance or struggle along the way. We'll much more likely find a lot of resistance along the way, like for example, the area we're running into right now, as I said earlier, and also 3.6k to 3.7k. Also as another key area of resistance to watch out for. And of course, if we confirm a daily candle close back below roughly 3260, below this line on the price chart, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, then that will completely invalidate the breakout, therefore invalidating the price pattern and the price target. And if we're zooming further into the short term, taking a look at the 3-hour Ethereum price chart, obviously over the last one day, we've been perfectly playing out this overbought signal, exactly as I talked about in my last video. I said we hit overbought, which means means very soon in the coming day or so, expect the price to slow down, maybe play out some choppy sideways price action, maybe a slight little pullback, basically to help to reset the RSI out of overbought towards more neutral levels is exactly what I talked about in my last video. And right now that is obviously perfectly playing out and could continue to play out a little longer, maybe over the next few hours, maybe over the next one day, obviously not over a period of weeks or anything, but just in the immediate short term, this could continue a little bit longer just to reset this RSI a little further, which once again can give us more room towards the upside later on to continue this bullish trend that we're currently in. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, right now the price of Solana is still perfectly struggling and running into my exact area of resistance, still sitting in between 143 to 147. So obviously continue to expect a lot of resistance, which means struggle or possible rejections from that area, as I've been saying for many months now on the channel, especially that 147 level still acting as key resistance. But if we eventually confirm a breakout, especially if Bitcoin continues this bullish breakout, once again, that can really pull the rest of the crypto market towards the upside along with it, especially with the Bitcoin dominance looking somewhat neutral, meaning a lot of altcoins going to perform very similar to what Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin continues to break out, that's also good news for the altcoin market, which can potentially help Solana in the coming days also maybe see a breakout here. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to what Bitcoin is doing to figure out what is likely going to happen for a lot of these altcoins. And if the price of Solana actually confirms a breakout, ideally with a daily candle close above 147 and actually holding above this area, in that situation, the next target or area of resistance to watch out for is in between 166 to 170. And as for support, if we see any little rejection or setback in the short term, in that situation, expect some support at around 140 to 141 based on this previous point of resistance here, and also some more support at around 134, give or take, as another level to watch out for if we were to see a further rejection. But so far so good. Technically this bullish divergence still active. We're just obviously running into this final obstacle for now, which is the area of resistance. And with that being said, taking a look at XRP on the weekly time frame, technically speaking, not a lot has changed over the last one day. On the weekly XRP price chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence still currently active, not yet confirmed any invalidation signal to actually invalidate the larger bearish divergence, which has been playing out over multiple months as expected, actually months ago here on the channel. We can even watch my videos all the way back then. But with that being said, we're obviously still holding above this crucial level of support here at around $1.80. And if we're zooming into the daily time frame, we also obviously basically bouncing between this support and this resistance. Previously we've been playing out this bullish divergence up until we really ran into this major resistance and also hit overbought around a week ago, a bit over a week ago now. And of course that area of resistance is still sitting in between $2.30 to $2.40, and we came down to this exact level of support on the price chart at $2.05. But really in between $2 to $2.05 is the area of support to watch out for, which over the last few days is exactly where the price just bounced from. But unlike Bitcoin, which is obviously showing a decent amount of strength right now in the short term, breaking out above key highs, heading towards the upside, heading towards bullish price targets, unlike Bitcoin, XRP, at least in the short term, is looking somewhat weak. Obviously, we don't have a lot of strength right now in the price of XRP. Now, obviously, at some point in the future, that could change, but right now, we're looking somewhat weak. But while Bitcoin continues to bullish breakout, it's unlikely we'll see a huge bearish move for XRP, so keep that in mind. We'll still likely hold that area of support that I just mentioned earlier, but maybe just play out a bit of choppy sideways price action or slight bullish move, not necessarily a massive move towards all-time highs or anything like that, especially because we still have a lot of resistance towards the upside that I also mentioned earlier. So keep that in mind. Basically, the price action that we've seen over the last half a week will likely continue similar price action like that moving forward, just in the short term over the next few days. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a somewhat similar situation for Chainlink. Technically, we still have an active bullish divergence on the daily time frame, which means expect either more bullish relief, a slight bullish relief, or choppy sideways price action as the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence. So once again, still currently active, still expect that moving forward over the coming days or possibly weeks. And as for support and resistance, we have a decent amount of support that I would expect at around 1330 to 1350, and more support at around 1280 to almost 1290. And as for resistance, expect some resistance at around $14.10 to almost $14.20, which we have been running into over the last couple of days here. And we also have more resistance at around $14.70 to $15. And so overall, those are my expectations moving forward and the key levels to watch out for Chainlink and all of these crypto assets and my exact trading strategy moving forward. And once again, if you want to take trades just like this for yourself, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim some massive bonuses that you can claim using those links below the video if you want to. And of course, if you want to actually know how you can take trades just like this for yourself to profit in the crypto market no matter what direction the price goes, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.